Good afternoon, and thank you for joining United Way's National Volunteer Month event, Current State of Volunteerism in Central Ohio, as part of a Learn United series designed to highlight the narratives of a variety of voices in our community. My name is Brandy Davis, Senior Manager of Volunteer United. Today, we will discuss the increased need for volunteers and how volunteerism has changed to meet the demands of our new virtual environment. Throughout today's session, if you have any questions for our panelists, please put those in the chat. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to today's panel. First, we have James Hagerman, Community Engagement Coordinator for Alvis Inc., Stephanie Sparrow Hughes, Corporate and Community Engagement Manager for Life Care Alliance, Jeremy Bronning, Volunteer Service Manager, Mid-Ohio Food Collective, Carolyn Slobodnik, Administrative Program Director, Van Buren Center, YMCA Shelter Services, and last but not least, Lindsay Blackburn, Special Projects Manager and Volunteer Coordinator for Gladden Community House. Thank you all for being a part of our panel today. So let's jump right in. I'd like to ask each of you to share a little bit about your background, education, and what led you to where you are today. Carolyn, why don't we start with you?
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Carolyn. I work at the YMCA Van Buren Center. My education and background, I went to school at Cleveland State University, where I majored in women's studies. And then I went to grad school at Case Western for history. And then I moved back to Columbus in the spring of 2018, and then started working at the Van Buren Center that summer of 2018. I've started out kind of more behind the scenes. I oversee I help with our budget and all of our purchasing and spending, and then our philanthropy, and then oversee our volunteer and donation program, and then also our guest resources and employment resources as well. And then I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Oh, I run our website, our webpage too. But I started out as the admin assistant for Shamika, our former executive director. And through her, I gained and learned so much just about working in a nonprofit and just within what service is and what that looks like. And through her, I was able just to learn and grow and develop skills, which led me just to learn how passionate I am just about service and acts of kindness and bringing community together. So just from there, it started off and it's continued to grow. And now I have an awesome team where we work together to make some awesome programming and resources for our guests and volunteers.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Carolyn. We'll just work our way down as I'm looking at the screen. So Jeremy, kick it to you next.
Yeah, thank you, Brandy, and thank you for everyone joining today. Really excited to be with you all. In terms of the question, a little bit about my background. I graduated from Kent State University, and like many, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I actually moved to Columbus, the Akron area following that time was just really didn't have a lot going on in terms of career progressions. And so I thought, let's move to a larger market. And it just so happened that I was looking for positions and just kind of fell into this position here at now Mid-Ohio Food Collective, formerly Mid-Ohio Food Bank, but have been here now for 9 years, have served, like I'm sure many of my colleagues, a variety of positions as you do in the nonprofit world, but currently the Volunteer Services Manager and absolutely loving it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. James?
Hello, thank you for having me here today. My name is James Hagerman and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator at Alvis. And it really is a pleasure to be here. We've loved working with Volunteer United in the past for many of our past volunteer opportunities, so it's a treat. I am, as Community Engagement Coordinator, a primary aspect of my role is to help foster relationships with other entities in the community, so with groups, corporations, and individuals. And I collaborate heavily with our advancement team and that's the team that I'm on currently. So we work with fundraising and things like that. But the core of my role is to manage our volunteers and to manage our interns as well. I went to school at Wittenberg University in Springfield, Ohio, and I majored in English and communication. So I've always had a love for writing, actually, but also human interaction on both sides of the coin. And I got my feet wet as an Alvis intern in 2019. That's really when I began at Alvis. And I interned with the advancement team specifically under the marketing area, helping with brand awareness and spreading our message to stakeholders and our different audiences that we have. And that's really where I fell in love with our clients and our mission and the stories that our staff have to share about working with our clients. It was just so inspiring. So I really did love it. And I began with Alvis as a staff member in July of 2020. So it was an interesting time for sure to begin the work as, a volunteer administrator in this new remote landscape that we had, but it's been very exciting. I would say there's never a dull moment, and every day is so different, and I really like that. It's really great.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie.
Thank you for having me today. I'm with Life Care Alliance and I work on the advancement team. Our team specifically, I work with corporate and community engagement, and I absolutely love it. What I particularly do is I work with our corporate partners to engage them with all of our volunteer opportunities, but particularly with our Meals on Wheels program. So to have associates go out during their workday, during lunchtime, and deliver meals to clients that are in need. So that's my primary role, is again working with those corporate partners as well as our individual volunteers as well. Prior to Life Care Alliance, my background, my degree is from Franklin University. I majored in business administration. And then prior to that, I went to Columbus State Community College and I had a dual major in business management and social work. So I really always loved the field of social work, but I kind of really wanted that business side of it as well. So just really getting involved with nonprofits was my goal. I started out with the Mentoring Center of Central Ohio, which is an organization that works through Big Brothers Big Sisters, and prior to that, Hands On Central Ohio, where I worked with 40 different mentoring partners. And it was an awesome opportunity to really engage corporate partners and then also our nonprofit partners to really work with youth in the community, providing a mentor for them. I worked at Ohio State University for our Buckeye Mentoring Hub. So I had an opportunity to work with OSU students and just really volunteers all over the community to really engage them to mentor and tutor kids in the community. And from there, I went into corporate and community engagement. So I worked with L Brands, helping them to manage their team with their volunteers. And that was a really great opportunity to really provide opportunities for associates to go out in the community and volunteer for a wide range of different nonprofits. From there, I landed at Life Care Alliance, where I'm currently also engaging corporate teams to volunteer in the community.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Hi, I'm Lindsay Blackburn. I'm the volunteer coordinator and special projects manager at Gladden. The core of my role is really to work to engage volunteers and find great meaningful placements for them, whether it's individual volunteers or our corporate partners. I also work on our website and social media and work really closely with our development director and support our administrative team as well. My background is in social work. I got my bachelor's from Ohio State University. I have worked for several direct service agencies in Central Ohio, and working in direct service really allowed me to have an impact on our community. And that really motivated me to move to an administrative role to help our really giving community of Columbus find those meaningful opportunities for other people as well as a volunteer coordinator.
Thank you. I loved hearing about each of your backgrounds and seeing how, each of you have really taken a different pathway to volunteer administration. So thank you for sharing that. As I'm looking through the chat, I see that there are quite a few folks that are big fans of your organizations. But with that being said, I'd like to ask each of you to share a little bit about the mission of your organization and who you serve.
I can go first. So the mission of the Van Buren Center is to support and strengthen our community by compassionately addressing the needs of men, women, and families in our community experiencing a homeless crisis. We provide a safe and healthy environment for our guests to resolve their housing crisis. And who we serve men, women, and families. In 2021, we served over 4,194 individuals. We provide emergency shelter, case management, employment resources, housing assistance, workshops and educational help and resources, computer rooms and on-site things like that for our guests to use, in addition to on-site medical providers that come in, meal service, laundry room services, and then our events and special programming, like our back to school rally that we do for the kids every year. And then all of our internal and external volunteer programs. And just, I think I'm still forgetting things. There's a lot that we do, but it's amazing that we can all come together and do it as a team. So that's always close to our mission and our heart.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And yes, that was a list, wasn't it? I'm sure there's much more, right? That you
Yeah,
all do.
I know. I'll think of more later.
What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, thank you. So our mission here at Mid-Ohio Food Collective is to end hunger one nourishing meal at a time while co-creating communities where everyone thrives. There's actually folks on this call that I know are colleagues of ours. So essentially what we're doing at the collective is partnering with what we call our partner agencies, developing relationships with these folks. So this could be a pantry, a market, a senior feeding site, an after-school program. We're partnering with these sites in order to get food and groceries to those locations. We want folks to have the opportunity to visit one of these sites that's a little bit closer to them in their community. We obviously don't want everyone coming to, say, here in Grove City to try to hand out food and groceries and supplies. And so I know, like I said, there's colleagues of ours on the call today, and it's through those partnerships that we're able to distribute around 75 million pounds of food and groceries every year. So it's through 20 counties that we have about 680 of these partner agencies. And it's truly just a testament to these folks of being able to work with us and get obviously food and groceries out to the customers coming to them in a time that obviously works for them. So we're as busy as ever, as I'm sure most of my colleagues on the call can vouch for that. But we're really excited about obviously what's to come as we're working our way out of this pandemic here.
Thank you. All right, James, you're in the hot seat now.
Great. So yeah, at Alvis, we are a human services agency, and our mission is to innovate and deliver evidence-based human services programs that empower those we serve to live successful, productive lives. We believe that each person's potential is more important than their past. So we vision a future where communities believe this too. We do a lot at Alvis, and we've grown quite a bit since our beginnings. We started off as more of a halfway house setting, and we still serve justice-involved individuals that are transitioning back into the community, but we also have many other service lines too now. So our other service lines include behavioral health care that entails addiction treatment, mental health concerns as well. Many times it's co-occurring, but that's all under the behavioral health care umbrella, in addition to services for survivors of human trafficking. We have our workforce development line of service, which focuses on helping our clients with employment readiness, job readiness, skill certification, and linkage to education, because landing a career and developing oneself as a professional is so critical to re-entering into society. We have our family and children's program, which So we don't just serve adults, we do have a subset of clients, their children as well, and we serve entire families that have been impacted by addiction and justice involvement. And then we finally have our services for individuals with developmental disabilities. So that's a very unique program. Many of them are with us for life. Their families may no longer be in the picture. So Alvis essentially becomes their family, and it's a very special program in that sense. We serve about 10,000 people a year. We have over 40 locations, largely in the central Ohio area, but we have a few satellite locations as well in Lima, Chillicothe, and Toledo. And like I said, our clients, their needs and their challenges, they vary, but there is one common thread. And I would say that that is that, they do have a barrier that's preventing them from fully reentering into society. So our role is to help them with that barrier so they can fully reintegrate into the community.
Thank you. Stephanie?
Thank you. I'd like to say thanks to all of the panelists today sharing about your organizations. As you working in the field of nonprofit, we have a long list of programs and services that we provide. So I will have a long list as well. Life Care Alliance, we lead in the community providing health and nutrition services. On our nutrition side is our Meals on Wheels program, where we serve 5 counties. We're in Franklin, Madison, Marion, Champaign, and Logan counties. And we deliver over 5,000 meals every single day. So that's huge for our clients to provide that hot meal for them every single day for our clients. So we do that through, again, with our volunteer programs and our staff here. We have an amazing team to get those meals out to our clients every single day. In addition to Meals on Wheels, we also have our Columbus Cancer Clinic, which provides free and low-cost screenings to those that are in need, as well as providing our groceries to go pantry, where we provide 2 weeks worth of groceries to clients through our Columbus Cancer Clinic that may need groceries for their families. We also have our very popular pet care program. So really our goal with Life Care Alliance is keep that client in their home where they want to be. So kind of think about, particularly an elderly person who may not have that support systems, especially during the pandemic. That pet is so important to them. So our pet care program, we provide pet food to our clients as well. About 70% of our clients have pets, and we have animal routes where volunteers can go out and specifically deliver pet food to our clients as well. So that's a very popular program. We have programs for our summer farmers market where we provide produce for our clients in the summertime. We provide free fans. We have a CODA camp, which is Central Ohio Diabetes Association, which works with kids that have diabetes, helping them with education and just really providing them that support to go through that process. And they have the opportunity to attend a summer camp as well. So we have a lot of different programs, and throughout the session, I'll kind of share a little bit more about what we do. One more I do want to say is our LA Catering Company as well. So our LA Catering is a part of our social enterprise. So when you think about working in the field of nonprofit, making sure that we have that funding stream coming through. So our LA Catering provides catering for weddings, reunions, corporate events, and those proceeds offset our fundraising and our to provide support for our clients as well. So lots going on.
Yes, a lot going on. Thank you for sharing. How about you all? Lindsay?
Yeah, at Gladden, our mission is to strengthen the well-being of Franklinton's children, families, and community, and build a thriving, equitable neighborhood. How we're doing that right now is we have several programs. We have a preschool where we enroll 3 to 5-year-olds to really give them those foundational building blocks to be successful in kindergarten. We have a youth services program that provides after school and full meals as well as part of that programming. Both of those programs are getting ready for summer camp, which is hard to believe that we're in spring and getting ready for a whole new season in Ohio. We've experienced all of them this week alone. Our food pantry is serving around 1,000 households each month. And we do partner with Mid-Ohio Food Collective for that as well. And we have a senior outreach program. Our senior outreach caseworkers work to engage those seniors who are living independently in their own homes, connect them with services that they may need, reduce isolation, and engage them in social activities. Our team sports program engages with about 500 youth each year. And we have year-round team sports. So we'll have basketball, baseball, softball, soccer throughout the year. We also have some crisis assistance programs for utility and rental assistance. Our partnership with the Community Shelter Board is actually a county-wide program with our homelessness prevention program that works to divert families from having to enter the shelter or work with those who are experiencing homelessness in the shelter system to find housing. And then we have our family to family program where we're working with Franklin County Children's Services to provide family bonding activities, parenting classes, money management, and things like that. So that's kind of Gladden in a nutshell. Yeah.
Wow, thank you, each of you. I know I'm not the only one that's blown away about the, the myriad of opportunities and ways that you all are supporting our community. So thank you. With that being said, before I ask my next question, I just want to remind our audience, if you have any questions for our panelists, please put those in the chat. And so with that being said, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this conversation. We're here to talk about volunteerism. So my question for you all is, why volunteerism? Why is it so important, and why should someone become a volunteer? And for this, I'll just open it up. So anyone who'd like to go first, please do.
Well, I can start. With Life Care Alliance, we really have a platform of using volunteers ongoing. We definitely could not do our work without our great valued volunteers. So why should someone volunteer? Specifically with Life Care Alliance, we have a number of different programs that volunteer can select from. And I believe with volunteering, it's just a really way to give back. This is a very challenging time for a lot of us. And the opportunities to volunteer really provides you that outlet that, this is something that you can do. With whatever nonprofit you decide to volunteer with, this is a way that you can give back. And with Life Care Alliance, providing that nourishing meal to someone in our community is crucial. And a lot of volunteers really love just that opportunity to have that interaction with our clients, whether it's delivering a meal, whether it's delivering groceries to our clients, working in our kitchens, helping to pack and prepare those meals for our clients, helping with our pet care program, helping with either delivering that pet food or getting that pet food ready for delivery. It just really is an opportunity for even families to come together. With Life Care Alliance, we do have a lot of families that volunteer, and it's a way to pass on service to your kids, to your grandkids, school groups. It's just a really an important time to have a way, an outlet to give back into the community.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I love what you said about it's something to do, right? Something that you can do, boots on the ground, to support your community. Carolyn?
Yeah, and just to go off of Stephanie's answer, which was great, she really covers it. But volunteers, they truly make the difference, and just all of our opportunities that we have at the Van Buren Center for Volunteers, we try to make sure that they touch on different points, so that it doesn't matter what your schedule is or when you work, or weekends or weeknights or daytimes. We try to make sure that our volunteer opportunities can meet the needs of everyone in our community, because we believe it's so important to get involved. And just through acts of services, you're able to show, especially just the men and women and families we serve at our shelter, that the community cares, the community sees them, and that the community wants to help them resolve their housing crisis, and believes that tomorrow will be a better day, and that homelessness is just, it's a moment, it's a situation. It's not something that labels a person or means that they have to carry that with them. So that's too where we love having our volunteers to come in and just to maintain that sense of normacy for our guests, our Santa's workshop, holiday workshop that we do for the families is one of our most popular volunteer events because volunteers, they get, it's just such an awesome experience where you get to, we set up this huge store. The parents get to go and kind of go shopping through it and pick out all the gifts with a volunteer that we call an elf. And then they get to wrap the gifts together, but it's such a great way just for our guests and our volunteers to spend time together and get to know with each other and just to have those conversations about what to get for their child that year for the holidays and to also still have that normal routine. So that's, I really love our holiday events. There, we just did an Easter egg hunt where kids got to take photos with the Easter bunny. And that for our families too, it can be such a special thing because maybe they don't have a photo of their family or of their newborn baby, and then they get that gift of that picture. And then the kids love meeting the Easter bunny as well and getting candy and cookies. So you can't ever have a bad time there. So we try to make, we know we have our volunteers work hard a lot and they help us a lot, but we also try to do fun events like that too. So our volunteers can come in and just enjoy everything.
Thank you. And I mean, I feel like I want to be an elf. I love that. That was so cute.
It is so much fun.
It sounds like it. All right. Jeremy, would you like to share?
Yeah, Carolyn, sign me up to be an elf too. That sounds like a blast. I love that. So in terms of, why volunteer, I think there's a multitude of reasons, whether it be you want to engage your team with say a corporate or a civic volunteer opportunity. That's a great team building opportunity. And ultimately, I feel like volunteerism essentially boils down to a lot of what Stephanie said earlier. You're giving back and you know that you are making an impact in your community. I can promise you, all of myself and my colleagues included, if you were to volunteer with our organization, you will leave with that sense of just, I did a wonderful job of completing what was ever asked of me and made an impact in the community. And I think being able to leave with a sense of just fulfillment that you are watching out for those a little bit less fortunate, those that maybe just had a little bit of bad luck and just need a little bit of help getting back up on their feet. I think leaving with that sense of just goodwill, I think can be very inspiring. And that's, I know what we try to do here with no matter the activity. So whether you're making meals in our kids cafe, helping pack boxes in our food sorting and packing area, helping collect food and groceries in our on-site pantry, or even helping out at our farms. Whatever the area, we would love to host you. And I think just being able to know that that impact is kind of twofold. You're obviously impacting the community, but again, you yourself hopefully are walking away with knowing that you did some great work in the community, and we're so thankful for it. And in terms of the, I think the second part of the question, the current need, we're open, and I think most of the nonprofits here in Central Ohio are open as well. We'd be happy to host you. As we're working our way out of the pandemic, we understand that there's obviously varying comfort levels in terms of exposure to community events, but we'd love to host you. And whatever the group size, please feel free to reach out. I think I saw some questions about group sizes. We can go from anywhere from 5 to 50 right now. And even that, we might be even able to push that a little further, because what we're discovering as well, teams that have been remote this whole time, they want to come together. They want to see everyone. They want to, be in community with one another. So we're actually kind of re-looking at how we're engaging with these teams and even our own capacity, whether it be here or offsite. So whatever the interest is, I feel like you're here because you have an interest in volunteerism. We would love to host you and look forward to that opportunity should it present itself.
Well, thank you, Jeremy.
I will just add, I really liked what you said earlier about how volunteerism can add a sense of normalcy to somebody's life. And that's one really key aspect of our mission is to help our clients look forward and not really look at the past and to not let that define them. So I think in general, volunteerism, especially when you're volunteering with people, it can show them that there's a community out there that wants to see them succeed and values them and sees them as people in the community. That's been central to our more recent volunteer opportunities, especially because even though we have been very remote and or virtual with volunteer opportunities, just indications that, maybe somebody's making something from home, like a beautiful painted kindness rock or a card, that still means a lot to our clients, and it shows them that somebody is thinking about them and that, they believe in them. And I think looking at a more general sense, volunteerism also gives everybody the opportunity to pursue your passions or maybe a skill or a talent that you have that you don't really get to do during your 8 to 5, 9 to 5 job. But if it's still meaningful for you, then volunteerism is a great way that you can still practice that skill and potentially help other people grow that skill too. So I would say in a general sense, again, because there's many different needs that our clients have, but any type of activity that can either show them support and encourage them and let them know that they simply are not alone, or an activity that can help them grow in a particular skill. Like we've had GED tutors, that's been very successful in the past, financial literacy workshops. We're currently recruiting and looking for somebody that can help with Tai Chi at one of our facilities. So varying, interest levels and different activities, but I think it's an opportunity for a volunteer in the community to get involved with, something that they are passionate about. And it's pretty give and take because our clients are also benefiting from it. And this goes for both our individual volunteers, but also groups that would like to get involved on recurring or more of a, an event or project type basis.
Thank you. And I love what you said about being able to leverage your passion and your skills. Lindsay?
Yeah, one thing I really appreciate about being in this role is hearing the why and what brings people to volunteer. There's a lot of different reasons. I think it's a really personal question. And we've heard a lot of the reasons the panelists have shared as well. Some people are really connected to the mission. Some people are looking for a social outlet. Some people are looking for team building opportunities with their corporate partners or with their families. And so I really think that learning all of those different reasons is a really special part of my job every day. And why should someone volunteer? The independent sector just released this week the new value of a volunteer hour, and it's almost $30 an hour. And so I just want to reiterate, when you're volunteering, you're often helping really lean staff, teams, and as well as part-time staff, do their jobs. Every person on this call has a wide range of services, and we cannot do this work without volunteers. It takes a lot of people to run these programs. And so when you're volunteering, you're directly providing a valuable resource, and you're letting not only the agencies know, but the families and individuals that they serve know that people care about the community that they live in.
Thank you for sharing that. And I feel like some of you may have touched on this, but I'd love for each of you to kind of share what is the current need for volunteerism at your respective organizations?
So our current need is we're always needing help in our kitchen. We provide 3 meals a day to over 600 individuals. So we do partner with Mid-Ohio's amazing supporter who helps make sure that we're able to feed all of our guests, among some of our other amazing community partners who help make our work possible. And even just coming together within your friends, family, coworkers, cooking a meal to help us serve our guests is something too we always like to put out there. We're about to start our community garden, and work on that is about to begin. And we use the herbs and the vegetables grown in the garden in our kitchen as well. And it's something our guests really, really love the experience as well, because they volunteer and help with it and look forward to it. And it's a great, we were talking about just within a team building and corporate work group, we can fit large groups outside But it takes a lot of work in the garden. And Christian Tucker, who's our volunteer coordinator, who couldn't be here today because she's actually running a program for our kids this week for spring break. But that's something else where we have a need for, because we're increasing our child programming. And so if you have a passion or experience in education and looking to help with that, we have some awesome opportunities that we would love to partner with you with.
Here at Life Care Alliance, our current need is we can always use individuals, companies to deliver Meals on Wheels. And we make it easy for volunteers. You know, our main location is at 670 Harmon Avenue. However, we have 40 different locations across the city and our 5 counties where you can pick up those meals closer to wherever you live or work. So if you're in Gahanna, if you're in Westerville, Hilliard, Grove City, you can pick up the meals right in your own community or maybe close to where you work. So that's why we really work with a lot of corporate partners and deliver those meals at lunchtime. It usually takes about an hour and a half to deliver those meals. So we make it easy. We've onboarded all of our information on our website to really onboard volunteers easily, and also corporate groups to, again, get re-engaged in the community. So we try to make it as easy as possible for volunteers, and we encourage large groups to volunteer. I think one person had a question about, can our large team volunteer? Yes, you can. You can volunteer with either delivering meals or on site at our facility as well. We encourage families and churches and schools to volunteer as well for our Meals on Wheels program. And with that particular program, it's really totally up to that individual how often they would like to volunteer. So if you want to volunteer for the holidays, for when school break is out in the summer, if you want to do it once a week, it's really up to you. You really set your own schedule with that particular project. We also have some unique special events that are coming up. One of our events that we had to put on hold due to the pandemic, that's really back on May 3rd. We have our clients, they serve as our models for our annual fashion show. So we will have a fashion show right here at Life Care Alliance with our senior clients as the models. It's a very fun event, and we can use volunteers to help serve meals to our senior clients. So if you have a team or individual that's looking for an opportunity, please contact me for our May 3rd fashion show. You will absolutely love it. It is amazing. And we have events all throughout the year. We have our annual Big Wheels event coming up on May 14th, where we can use help with getting set up for that event. And that's a huge event that we can definitely use some volunteers for that. And again, we have opportunities to volunteer for a couple hours or ongoing. So we have a little bit something for everyone. So we definitely encourage you to check out our website, lifecarealliance.org, or you can inbox me directly, and I would be happy to share more opportunities with you.
Thank you. And also, Stephanie, sign me up for the fashion show. That sounds fun.
I one down.
I will add to our needs. I touched on them a little bit, but we basically have 2 different types of calendars or menus for volunteers to get engaged. One is for our more recurring volunteers, and it's very exciting right now because we are able to do more in-person opportunities than we were before. So it's almost a new frontier. We've been meeting with our programs and determining a refreshed list of what they really need and what could benefit our clients. So recurring volunteers will typically be coming in, and those are the volunteers that would assist with teaching yoga classes or workshops like art classes, things like that. And it's on a bi-weekly, weekly, monthly basis. We are very collaborative in terms of scheduling that. So there's some flexibility there. But then the vast majority of our volunteers, especially these past couple of years, have been assisting with our special events and our ongoing projects. And we have ongoing projects and they shift pretty much, I would say, quarterly. So right now we have our spring menu of volunteer activities, and our spring opportunities are geared towards current needs right now. And some of them are also kind of seasonal or in accordance to a special month. Like this month, in addition to being volunteer month, is Second Chance Month. So in honor of that, we have had a Second Chance Kindness Rock campaign for volunteers to, work with their corporate groups or their teams or individually, and they can paint kindness rocks and then drop them off to us and we will distribute internally. So that was really cool. We had a class actually combine that with their ceramics class, and they made kindness stones out of ceramics. That was from Columbus Alternative High School. So that was really neat. We also have had an Easter egg hunt this month, and everything from the eggs to the Easter baskets, this was volunteer supported, volunteer donated, and volunteer assembled. So we would not have been able to do this without volunteers. So those are just a couple examples of ways that volunteers are really, impacting us on a regular basis, but on a less recurring basis. So it just changes in terms of, what is going on in our facilities and what the needs are. Spring is coming, or spring is happening right now, and we're gearing up for the summer. So in line with that, there's a lot of landscaping needs, yard work needs to clean up the spaces outside of the facilities. And it is probably going to change in the next couple of months to reflect summer term. But yeah.
Thank you, James. Before we move on, I do want to highlight, I see a question specifically for you. You mentioned yoga. Is there a need for mindful meditation volunteers?
I believe that would be very well received by our clients. So I would love to be in touch. Both mindfulness and yoga and movement, those are two separate needs that I've learned about. So I think that almost combines both of them into one. So I would love to be in touch with that. See, Bridget asked that question.
And I touched on some of our needs earlier, but just to highlight, we are so lucky to have had some of the responses from some of our individual volunteers and corporate groups that are, getting back into volunteerism with us. The four main areas that we can still use some support are our food sorting and packing areas. This is, kind of more behind the scenes in our warehouse, but it's doing just that. It's helping us sort and repack retail donations we've received from retail partners in our community. So it's matching items up with similar categories. Oftentimes it comes in big bulk donations. And so we want to take those mixed donations and actually separate those out into more specific categories that our partner agencies could then order from us. We also have our on-site community garden as well as our farm that is currently under construction. But if you're looking for an activity to be outside, you can get a little dirty, and that's quite all right. We would love to have you at our on-site garden, and come this time next year, hopefully our urban farm in the Hilltop area will be construction-free zone at that point, and we can we look forward to hosting individuals and groups out there to help us with anything you can imagine in terms of gardening, with planting and harvesting and everything in between. We also have our on-site Kids Cafe as well as our Roots Kitchen at our offsite location. And this is where we're preparing meals for our community partners. So I know some of my colleagues have mentioned with summer feeding coming up, there's a huge increase in need because many of these students that may be receiving, say, that free breakfast or that free lunch from school, well, school's no longer in session. And so there's certainly an increased demand in terms of helping our kitchen team or our Roots team in preparing and packaging those meals for distribution to those sites. And then also our on-site pantry. We, as crazy as it sounds, we actually increased the number of hours during the pandemic in terms of the hours of operation. And I know we weren't the only ones in the community. And that was in response to the pandemic. Folks that never needed support, folks that had never been, laid off in their entire career, found themselves, in a time of need. And so we realized we needed to expand our hours. And so because we've expanded our hours now, obviously that requires more volunteer support. So like I said, any of those activities, we would love to have you. Our numbers are starting to go up where we see the glimmer of hope, so to speak, with the spring and hopefully summer months to come. But yeah, we would love to host you for any of those activities. And please keep in mind, whatever the group size, we can certainly try to accommodate you as best we can, because we understand that so many teams now are coming back together, and we would love to be that conduit of service for you.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Yeah, our biggest need right now is our food deliveries out of our pantry on Friday mornings. We deliver food to homebound seniors that can't otherwise get to the pantry. So we rely on volunteers to help us deliver to those around 150 seniors every month. That is a great opportunity for households and family members and kids to volunteer with their parents. So, I mean, they need to be able to get out of the car with their parents and carry the groceries and things like that. But that's a great opportunity. And it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. That happens every Friday, but it's a really great one-time project that you can do to get to know Franklinton a little bit better, get to know our seniors a little bit better, and just get to know a little bit of the work that Gladden does. And you can find those opportunities both on Volunteer United. You can reach out to me directly. We have other things that happen throughout the year, like senior yard cleanup, cleanup around our facility as well. But really our biggest need right now is those deliveries.
Thank you for sharing. So let's talk a little bit about expectations. What can a volunteer expect when volunteering with one of your organizations, and what is expected of a volunteer? And let's start with you, Stephanie.
Great question. Thanks, Brandy. So what should a volunteer expect? Now, here at Life Care Alliance, we value our volunteers. From our CEO to our department team, all of our volunteers are valued and encouraged to be here to volunteer with us. So what they should expect is prior to the project, they will receive all the details regarding the volunteer project. So what are the tasks of that volunteer project? What is the location? What time will they be volunteering? And excuse me, you will also have a team member on site, typically for groups that are volunteering, to make sure you know exactly what to expect with that particular project. For our Meals on Wheels project, someone would, of course, need a vehicle to transport those meals to those clients, to expect to volunteer about an hour and a half. And then that volunteer can select what area of town they would like to volunteer in. But we do provide training, so we go over all of those details in our training session to make sure that that volunteer understands exactly what is expected of them.
How about Jeremy? How about you go next?
Yeah, and I echo a lot of what Stephanie said. What you can expect, you'll receive all the necessary details for the event. That will all be shared with you. Prior to the event, open lines of communication will be there should there be any questions about our activities. But we are sending out in our emails to our volunteers, the who, what, where, when, why, basically. Where's parking? Should attire be specific? What excuse me, what you need to know as a volunteer prior to then showing up. And then once you do arrive, receiving that proper training from our staff, they're able to answer any questions, take care of any special needs upon arrival as well. So we really, again, just we're open. We would love to have you, but in terms of the expectation, we want to have fun. We want to have an environment where folks want to come back and enjoy it. So we're applicable. We like to play some music, like to have some fun. I think I saw some folks saying that they had fun in the food sorting and packing area, which is wonderful news to hear. But that is part of the we hope the charm as well, that we can have some fun while doing some good in the community as well.
Carolyn?
And just to go off to what Jeremy and I think that Stephanie was saying too, is we make sure that we try to get our volunteers the information they need through with our sign up page where we have all of that information. And then we always encourage our volunteers and community partners to join our mailing list, where I send out a monthly newsletter that always highlights upcoming events and opportunities and just important announcements or needs we have within our organization. For all new volunteers and just even volunteers who haven't been with us for a while, we encourage them all to complete our new volunteer sign up where it goes over, we have a handbook with some training and information, and then just a short video just to give volunteers an overview of what to expect when they come to us the first time. And we want our volunteers to feel like they can join us once, they can come twice, but there's no expectations within a commitment. We want it to be about the act of service and just the act of kindness, which means we don't want it to be a forced expectation, or we don't ever want to exhaust our volunteers. They're so important to everything we do, and without them, we couldn't do it. So we try really hard just to make sure they have what they need. And we always want to be in communication and hear from our volunteers and to know what they experience. And we love collaboration too. So within volunteering with us, it's just, we want it to be an experience where you're empowered to make it what you want it to be and meet the needs and your interest and passion.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Yeah, I would echo everything that everyone else said. I think knowing what's expected of you is important, and it makes people feel comfortable doing the jobs. I really like to start with a quick phone call, or now that people are feeling more comfortable meeting in person, maybe a tour of our building. A lot of people haven't been to Gladden before, maybe don't know about all of the programs and services, so that we can really spend a short time kind of learning about people's interests and passions, so that they can get connected with something that really resonates with them. And then after that, it's really connecting them with the staff that they would be working closest with, so that they would get the training that would be appropriate for that program. And then just making it as easy as possible, because we know that volunteers are busy. They have work, school, families, other commitments. And so we just want to make sure that they know that we value their time, and we don't want to put any unnecessary hoops in the way for them to jump through. So we just want to make sure that the fit is right for them, and they enjoy the time that they do spend with us and are able to spend with us.
Thank you. James?
Yeah, so we have, it depends largely on location, program, and which clients you would be working with for us, what the expectations would look like. But by and large, if it's more of a recurring volunteer activity, then there's a processing appointment. We facilitate an orientation for the volunteer. And prior to that, they get to meet with who their on-site contact would be. So there's a bit of a meet and greet, and that's where we work out what the schedule is going to look like and more logistics about the activity. But with other activities like our special events, I saw our amazing board member, Natalina, put this into the chat, but we have an upcoming large fundraising event called Evening of Light that provides critical funding to our family and children's program at Alvis. And so for an event like that, there's still a lot of planning. We're communicating the details to volunteers ahead of time, and there's many different roles. So you'll typically, if you do sign up for this activity, then you'll also be assigned your role ahead of time. So you have some expectations in place, and you know what to wear, and you know how to, if there are any things that you need to bring or anything like that. And then for our other projects, we have, you know, our mixture of in-person activities and remote. If it's a remote activity, still we will typically reach out to our volunteers to give them more details after they have signed up through an activity. And usually it is through like a corporate portal or Volunteer United or another portal like that. And so we'll just make sure that, you know, any questions that they might have are answered. And that's a little more flexible because we handle any, you know, distribution to our clients internally if it's something that they're doing remotely. But even if it's on site too, there's still somebody present to educate the volunteers too about what they're doing and why it matters. I think it's important to have the why piece as well, so you know what you're doing, how it relates to the impact that you're making on other people's lives.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that each of you talked about just making sure that volunteers feel comfortable and prepared, and ensuring that, you know, there's some flexibility to make sure that they have a great experience. So I appreciate you sharing that. I want to switch gears a little bit. So much has changed for all of us over the last, 2.5 years. And so I'm interested, how has volunteerism been affected at your organizations over the last 2 years?
I'll go ahead and start. First, I'd like to echo a comment that Jeremy made about volunteers having fun. I think that's so crucial as well. You want to make sure that volunteers have a fun experience. So we definitely do that here at Life Care. We want to engage them and connect them with our mission. We provide tours for them. We really connect with them through our newsletter and our social media. So I think that's really important to make sure that there's a connection and fun involved. Of course, the pandemic changed all of our lives. So how has volunteerism changed since the pandemic? Prior to the pandemic, we were onboarding all of our volunteers in person. So if someone was interested in volunteering, they came to our site, we do an orientation and training to learn, of course, about all of our programs and services. Since then, all of that has been shifted to online. So we now are able to onboard our volunteers virtually. So we have an online application. Volunteers just go to our website, lifecarealliance.org, and fill out that online application. We also have changed our training to where we have a virtual training session as well to onboard volunteers, so they have all that information. And we also have a website portal where we have all of our volunteer documents available for those program coordinators and volunteers to access all of our materials. So if you want to know about what our policies, our procedures, what to expect, all that information is on our website, and typically our volunteer coordinators with our corporate partners access that information and provide that to our volunteers. So how has it changed? Again, everything is virtual. And what we've noticed that even though I know we are coming out of the pandemic, or we're crossing our fingers that we are, people have really engaged with the virtual and remote format. So a lot of volunteers really still enjoy that video to onboard versus in-person training. We are trying to get back to that though, and we have seen some individuals that may be wanting to get trained in person, and some corporations may also want to do that. But a lot of that really is still remote. So that's how we are engaging our volunteers. And we really listen to our volunteers. During the pandemic, we did have some virtual projects through our senior pet care program, where at home you could put kits together, bag treats, or make pet toys and drop those off. So we did have some virtual opportunities for people who want to volunteer virtually. We did change all of our protocols with our Meals on Wheels, where meals are delivered outside. Both volunteers and clients wore masks for the project. We suspended some of our procedures just to make sure we had that social distancing in place. With the pandemic, with our model, we really rely a lot on corporate groups to volunteer, to have their teams go out at lunchtime to volunteer. So that really definitely shifted with so many people working remotely. So we really had to onboard individual volunteers going to take that place. So we were very fortunate that we had a high level of individuals that came through our organization when they were either laid off or working at home. They came in and volunteered with us. Some of those volunteers only volunteered for a short period of time. So we are still in that space of making sure that we are getting our routes covered for our Meals on Wheels program. But we just really appreciate our volunteers. Some volunteers have stuck with us through the whole entire pandemic. So we are truly grateful for them. And we are grateful for those that have stepped up to volunteer with us. So we are in that space of, again, some people wanting to make sure they maintain their safety, but also that space of more volunteers wanting to get out and getting more engaged in the community. So we are, again, flexible with whatever works for that volunteer to engage them during this time.
Thank you. Who else would like to share how things have kind of changed or affected volunteerism at your organizations?
Similar to what Stephanie was saying is, yes, we've moved everything. Everything is online and virtual now. You can go to our website at Van Buren volunteer.constantcontactsites.com to see all of our available signups. And we really worked hard just to get our website, just to have that information available, and even just within virtual tours as well, because that was one way we really would be able to connect with people in the community prior to the pandemic. And then following March of 2020, we postponed all volunteer events for that year. And it was such a weird and surreal change, just because to go from having so many people in our building in the community and our guests to having to open up 3 deconcentration shelters and spacing out all of our guests. And during a time when we most needed our community's help, we unfortunately couldn't safely ensure the well-being. So we had to postpone that. And it just makes you really realize how important volunteers are when you can't have them inside your facility, and how much that time makes a difference. And now being able to have our volunteers back in our building again, it's amazing, and it brings another level of energy and spirit to the building as well. That really just helps make the days more meaningful too, when you know you're getting to bring people together. And like I think everyone's echoed, is just making volunteering fun. We have a bingo night for our ladies where we play music. There's prizes. The women look forward to it. It's every other week, and it's just for people in the community to come in and get to just have a chance to have fun and dance and be silly and bring some fun. But it's really nice that we are moving back into this space where we're able to have large groups in again. But having individual volunteers though, during the time when we were at limited capacity, they're so important as well. Like, never forget the impact and difference just one person giving an hour of their time. It truly can change a life. And yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you for sharing. Lindsay.
Yeah, the pandemic, it didn't stop our programming, but we did have to make a lot of adjustments, and that definitely included our volunteer capacity. We are slowly working to getting back to a pre-COVID capacity. We've been working really closely with, the state and health guidelines as far as social distancing and mask requirements. And things like that. For example, our pantry is very small, so we have to be really conscious of how many people are in that space. So most of our programming did remain in person during the pandemic. We just reduced programming sizes, but we looked for different ways for our volunteers to virtually support that programming. We did that through cheer gifts for our seniors who at the time were home, and we did drives to support our programs. We delivered lunches and gifts to different program participants. And then we also worked to do some virtual tours with some community partners as well. And now we're slowly working on re-engaging people in person again. So we have updated our website, so you can do applications like that online. So we're hoping to incorporate some of those changes in that we made during the pandemic into our transition as well.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Yeah, thank you, Brandy. Wow, it's wild. Reflecting on these 2 years now. I'm not sure if folks are aware, but we were actually hosting the National Guard from March of 2020 through July of 2021. I hope you never have to have that experience of an armed services group coming, in to essentially take over your location. However, if you do, you will be in such incredible hands. I simply cannot say enough good things about the young men and women who served with us during that time. Truly kept us afloat through their service to their country. Having soldiers work as your volunteers is quite an experience, I can tell you. We received many requests during that time. What can I do from home? How can I help? Folks are still able to fundraise and host food and healthcare item drives for us virtually. However, we are looking internally to actually grow a program to help address this. It's still in its infancy stage here, so we don't have anything. I don't have anything that I can share at this time, but we are looking to develop a program that is able to be for virtual engagement and learnings. So similar to many games and programs, we're actually hoping to offer an ability for our volunteers to level up by attending programs in person, but also virtual learning sessions. We're finding through education, our volunteers can learn more about their community, more about our organization, and really become incredible advocates for us in the community that way. So again, we're currently developing this program and hope to be able to share it with you all as soon as everything's worked out there. And we're also working on a virtual tour. So for folks that say just aren't able to make it, or if they want to engage with us, say in that virtual way prior to coming in, we're hoping to actually have that finalized very soon. But again, a lot of our work, it does need to be done in person. And so we're continuing to look at this balance. We understand the desire for folks in the community to volunteer from home. But again, many of our activities do require to be in person, to pack boxes, to harvest vegetables, to pack food for our customers. So it will continue to be a balancing act for us to address that desire from our community while still, obviously getting our work done day in and day out.
Thank you. James?
There was definitely a shift for us, pre-COVID versus COVID and the pandemic, and huge shift to remote and virtual opportunities. We were following CDC guidelines to a T, and so we really were not bringing any volunteers into our facilities at all for almost this entire time. We recently have, received the go-ahead to do that. So as you can imagine, though, the isolation that our clients who live in residences were feeling from not, having less interaction with people from the community, it only increased the need to impact them. So we did have to find ways for volunteers to interact with them. And I think that it was really cool to see. And one way that I think we will continue to keep this piece of our program, even as things hopefully continue to improve, is a growth in volunteering from other areas of the world, and also just from a remote basis, making it more flexible for people to volunteer. We had volunteers actually from other states like California, Arizona, New York, that participated in a lot of our remote projects. For example, for the holidays, we did stocking stuffers for many of our clients full of essential items. So volunteers from other states actually participated in that. We even had a volunteer from Bali, and it was during Thanksgiving, and she sent this beautiful message of hope. And it was just a short video message, but things like that, where you can still see people and interact with them, it meant a lot. So for both individual volunteers, but also corporate engagement, I think we've actually managed to grow some of our corporate engagement through volunteering as well, through either hybrid, remote, and in-person activities, or completely remote activities that teams can get involved with. So I think that that's one positive that's come out of this experience of, having to find new ways for people to still connect with our clients. And now that we are finally, able to do more in-person activities, it's almost a new frontier for us now, but it's an exciting time for sure. And I think that, these can still complement each other, being able to do a project with your team. It can be on site, but it could also be off site, but then you could still come into our facilities and, see the impact, or, deliver something that you made, if it was off site, or, it could kind of be both, which is cool.
Thank you. And I think one of the things I heard each of you talk about was, being able to include some sort of remote or virtual volunteerism into your program. So could you share, what does virtual volunteerism currently look like at your organizations?
So we just added virtual volunteer opportunities to our website where you can actually sign up and watch videos to learn how to make our hygiene kits that we give to every guest that comes into shelter. And then it also goes through all of the items that are included in each kit. And it's just, it's also kind of an educational video so our community can see what we do with the donations when we get them. And it gives ideas about drives you can do or just ways you can collect supplies. And we have another one that goes with our welcome home kits that we give to our guests when they get successfully housed as a way to celebrate their successes. And within that video too, you get to learn more about what the welcome home kit is, what goes in it, and how you can get together with a group of friends or family or coworkers, or even just with it by yourself and help make a difference. And we wanted to try to really make sure virtual opportunities are just flexible to people's schedules so that when it's convenient for them to do it, they're able to sign up.
Well, here at Life Care Alliance, a lot of our programming is in person, but we do have opportunities for virtual programming as well. We have, through our Columbus Cancer Clinic Groceries to Go Pantry, we have an opportunity to donate items for those programs. So if someone's in specific areas for either our pantry or with our senior pet care program, we do have a donor wish list that you can collect items. And sometimes that's really fun projects that groups can do. Another area that we have volunteers with, either school groups or really anyone can provide cards for our clients as well. So making holiday cards, whether it's, even for the springtime, happy spring, summer, during the holidays. So we do get a lot of cards for our clients, as well as placemats or other kind of decorations or arts and craft projects as well. And we have a lot of fun projects. We had one team, one of our corporate partners, work on developing, it was holiday bags. And these bags were amazing. Their marketing team really went way out and really provided us holiday bags for our clients. So we do have those opportunities where we can engage our corporate partners or individuals or school groups to provide opportunities in a virtual format.
James?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we have a seasonal calendar or a quarterly calendar. And so in that calendar, that menu of activities, most of those activities could either be on site or they could be done virtually, especially the ones that are more arts and crafts related. So like Stephanie was saying, cards are something that we have going on right now too, where you can create well wishes for spring in particular, but really a lot of time of year cheer. So for Valentine's Day, for example, we had volunteers creating Valentines for our clients, and that was for more of our winter roster activities. But also we have a list of program needs where if people are hoping to create care packages for our clients or donate, then we do have that list as well. And that's also something that can easily be done remotely. And then again, I did mention this, my response to the last question, but we have had hybrid instances where people will do both. So an example of this would maybe be with Cardinal Health volunteers. They made these beautiful dot decals to place in our lobby for the Amethyst building, which Amethyst is a recovery program for women it's an Alvis recovery program. And it was really cool because we also combined that with an on-site lobby painting activity. So it completely transformed the lobby, but there were two components where volunteers could get involved on more of the gathering just off-site to do the dot decals, but then also with painting the lobby, that was an on-site component. So we're probably going to continue to embrace these types of opportunities moving forward, and we refresh them on a quarterly basis.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Yeah, there are a handful of ways that you can support Gladden remotely. You can host a drive for our food pantry. At Halloween, we haven't been able to host our Halloween party the last couple of years, but we still did individual like holiday programming for the kids that were in our program. So we do host a really big candy drive starting in like September. So you could host that with your family, with your neighborhood group, with your work if you're going back to the office. And also we do work on bingo prizes for our seniors, senior lunches. And then we have done some cards for different seasonal activities to go out with our senior deliveries as well. So there are a handful of opportunities. Still, a lot of the work we do is in person. That's where the need is, but there are a handful of ways that you can support that work as well.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Yeah, and as some of my colleagues have mentioned, again, a good majority of our work is still in person. We still do need those bodies to again help pack those boxes and help harvest vegetables, etc. But a few ways that folks can get involved with us in a virtual way is still donations from the comfort of your own home, whether it be monetary or conducting food drives or even drives for, say, health and beauty products. If you want to get creative in terms of items that you want to get, so whether it be shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, feminine hygiene products, many organizations would love to obviously be the beneficiary of that, and obviously ourselves included. So you can find on our website our most needed items list. By visiting mofc.org, you'll see again those most needed items list on there. And again, we hope to build out our robust volunteer learning path very soon. It's in the works right now, and we're still putting the necessary pieces in place to build out that program. And we're also hoping to restart, I should say, our advocacy program. And this is where our volunteers can help us in terms of speaking engagements. So many of these speaking engagements now can be done from the comfort of your own home. And so we'll be listing this as an opportunity very soon. We love that our volunteers can actually go into the community and speak beyond our behalf as an organization. And so we'll have subsequent training for these volunteer opportunities where those volunteers will feel very confident and comfortable in terms of speaking on behalf of our organization. And this, again, will be listed very soon as an opportunity on our volunteer website.
Thank you. And I want to make sure that we have time to address a couple of the questions that I saw come through from the chat. So this question is really for any of you or all of you. I think we saw a couple of questions about wondering if any of you have volunteer opportunities for children. What's the minimum age that volunteers can be? And in addition to that, do you have any family-friendly volunteer opportunities?
Great question. I'll go ahead and start. We really accept volunteers of all ages. So as long as a child is with their parent, they can go out and deliver Meals on Wheels. And that's actually, we find that that's a generational project that, kids that start off volunteering, they often come back to us and volunteer with their families as well. So that's one project, really all of our projects, whether kids want to work with our senior pet care program, bagging some pet food for our clients as well. They can do that with their parent, working in our kitchens, helping with bagging the meals for deliveries. That's another option. Or with some of our special programs throughout the year, our seniors farmers market, helping get those produce bags together for delivery. So we have a lot of kids that volunteer. We have first graders that come and volunteer through their school. There's not an age group. We do require that adult supervision with kids that volunteer, but we definitely encourage them to come and volunteer with us.
And I would just also echo that as long as the child is with their parent, I would have that conversation with them ahead of time to make sure we're finding the right project. I shared earlier, our deliveries can be a really good project for kids to go out with their parents. They can carry the grocery bags and make those deliveries. We are still delivering the groceries to porches or just inside the home. So it's really limited contact. We do cleanups around the facility. We do senior yard cleanups. So we would just spend some time ahead of time talking about what the project would entail to make sure that it would be a good fit for a child of whatever age. But yeah, as long as they're with their parent, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of build those relationships.
So for most of our on-site volunteer opportunities, we ask that kids be at least 14 years of age. But Christian is also willing. She will work with families or with kids too. She does a lot of where she'll go into schools and do some speaking tours and presentations just about what Van Buren Center is and what we do, and then work with the kids there where maybe together as a class or a school, they'll do their own drive. Or we've had, she's done special events for some groups with and families with kids where they'll come in and they'll help us do either sack lunches or a canned food drive and assembling food boxes and decorating them as well. So it's really, as long as you just reach out to Christian, and you can email us at bbvolunteer@ymcacolumbus.org. But we'd love to work with you, and we try our best just to make sure that we can accommodate everyone, just so we can help spread volunteering and just the impact that it has.
And I'll chime in real quick with our age requirements. We first of all, we love the ability to be able to host families. So we do have 4 weeknight opportunities. So hopefully after school, after work, families are able to join us, as well as weekend with Saturday shifts offered in our on-site pantry. As far as specifics, our food sorting and packing, we can accommodate 13 and older. Our on-site pantry, we can go as young as 11. And then our garden and farm, we actually have gone as young as 7 and 8 years old there, because we feel it's a great learning opportunity for our younger volunteers in the community to learn just all the efforts that go into farming, and that food, just doesn't show up at the grocery store. So we found some great successes with some of our younger volunteers at our farm and garden.
I enjoyed what Lindsay had to say about how it kind of just depends on the project and collaborating with either the group or the family on that project, because that would be true for us as well at Alvis. There may be certain populations where it would be more conducive to have somebody that's older volunteering, but we have a family and children's program, and we have had children volunteer or youth volunteer with that program before. This past month, we had youth helping us hide our Easter eggs at the Easter egg hunt, and leading craft activities with the children. So there is some flexibility there. It would just be a conversation that we would have to match up the ideal volunteer project.
Thank you. And I know that there was a question, we touched on it, about larger groups. I won't ask each of you to tell me exactly the number that you can accommodate, because I know that can be a little bit tricky. But could each of you at least share if you have the ability to host large groups, just for the benefit of our audience?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do as well. And especially if it's not on site, even some on site opportunities though, but really the sky is the limit when it comes to group size with our activities.
Yes,
Oh,
sorry. Yes, we do as well. We have a number of on-site opportunities, so we can really accommodate large groups. We have several different areas where people can volunteer, so we can definitely accommodate a large group here.
We support, or most of our volunteer opportunities are supported by mid-size volunteer groups, 10 to 15 to 20. Larger groups, it's not that we can't, it just takes a little more planning and some collaboration. So if groups are willing to be able to be split into different sites, like multiple senior homes, and doing yard work at the same time, or working with other Franklinton partners, again, it just depends on the group and the time of year and the opportunity.
We do as well at Middle Ohio Food Collective. And the additional piece I'll throw in, we have some meeting spaces available. So if teams find it to their benefit where they want to say volunteer in the morning and meet in the afternoon or vice versa, we would love to be able to be that opportunity for them.
Thank you. And, as we kind of come to the end of our time, I want to open the floor to any of our panelists. Are there any other things that you would like the community or our audience to know today?
I just wanted to say thank you for having us. It was such an honor to get to sit with you all as well on this panel and all of your organizations where we work together to do such amazing work. So I just want to thank you all too for everything you do.
I'd like to say thank you as well for the opportunity to share about our work and mission on the panel today. And we invite people to come back and volunteer. I know, again, we had a really long 2 years. We welcome teams, especially corporate groups, to come back and really get re-engaged. I know a lot of companies are working remotely. And so this is really an opportunity to come back, volunteer with us, and really get re-engaged with your team through our programs and services. So we welcome groups and individuals to volunteer with us and really learn more about our mission. We're open for business, and we welcome you to come and learn more about our story.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for the work that they're doing as well. Brandy, thank you for having us. I really just want to say, really, we need volunteers. The work that the organizations in Central Ohio are doing, we can't do without volunteers. It's vital to the community. Some of our opportunities might have changed, but the need is still there. So please reach out to missions that matter to you and that connect with you and that resonate with you. And I really like the point of engaging with corporate partners and groups. It's been really special to be a part of that kind of reconnection and facilitating that, because it's like a party. Some people haven't seen each other in 2 years, or some people have never met in person. They started at a new job during the pandemic and they've never met their coworkers in person. And so volunteering has really been the opportunity that's brought them together. So that's been really special. So please find missions that matter to you and reach out to your organizations.
Lindsay, I'll piggyback on what you said. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, United Way. Thank you to all my colleagues for the wonderful work that you're doing in the community. We're open. We would love to have you. You can, make a difference in the community by coming in and volunteering for, even just a couple hours. You're providing hope to folks in our community, and we'd love for you to, make that difference at our facility here.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And I really enjoyed being a part of this panel. It's pretty inspiring to just listen to everybody else here and share, also why they're passionate about what they're doing for their organizations, and to hear kind of how some of our missions are intertwining a little bit too. So yeah, that's really neat. We definitely invite you to volunteer with us and out in the community. And we're very flexible and collaborative. So if you are like a corporate group or a team or even an individual, a lot of our activities have been shaped by an exchange of ideas. So just please come as you are and just let us know where and how you want to get involved, and we'll be excited to see what we can do.
Thank you. I'll just close by thanking all of you for being a part of this panel and sharing your insights on volunteerism in our community. And I want to thank everyone who's tuned in to view and watch this panel. I hope that you enjoy this conversation, and you'll continue to join future conversations just like this one that you can find at liveunitedcentralohio.org/events, because our community is stronger when we show up united. Thank you.